Hi everybody, Allie here from ABC Bead Supply, and I'm here today with a tutorial for you on how to make an adjustable necklace using genuine leather cord. Genuine leather cord is the optimal material for this type of necklace closure, whereas your satin nylon cord is best suited with breakaway clasps for safety reasons. The genuine leather cord is currently available in grab bag form on the website. It's just $6.95, which is $10 off for 3 yards each of 10 colors. The colors are mystery. It's a grab bag, and it's a deal for us to clear out a bunch of colors that we're not going to be offering. Not that there's absolutely nothing wrong with the leather. This is genuine leather cord, premium cord. It's all been tested. It's cord that we use over on our pre-made site. But this is just cord that we're weeding out our inventory of because they're color dialettes that we're not going to be carrying in the future. We are working to be able to carry the genuine leather cord in individual colors. Leather cord is just an entirely different manufacturing process from a different country than all the acrylic beads and beading supplies. So it's a bit more of a process, and we just have some things to still work out with that. But for now, we do have the grab bags available on the site. So I'm going to demonstrate how to make one of these necklaces using one of our New Year's designs as an example. And all of these beads and the pendants are available now on the website as well in the New Year's collection. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is to cut your cord length. Our preference on cord length cuts are 27 inches for younger kids and 33 inches for adults, teens, and older kids. Once you have your length of cord cut, you just want to test the cord. And we do this by running our hands down and making sure that there's no splicing in the cut. Sometimes with genuine leather cord, they can be really tricky with how they splice the cord and fuse the cords together to complete a long length. And then we also like to just give it a little tug and make sure that there aren't any weak spots in that leather where the leather gets slightly thinner that could break. So we test the cord before we begin stringing the beads on. And then you're going to start adding your beads. So we're going to use a gold spacer bead on this one, the holographic tinsel 20 millimeter bead, the black with gold fleck bead, another spacer. We've got a gold stardust bead, and then we're going to put on a black iridescent, and one more spacer, and then we're going to put on the pendant. To attach the pendant, you're going to take a jump ring. We use the 10 millimeter jump ring on a large pendant like this, where the acrylic base is kind of thick. If you used a smaller jump ring on a pendant like this, it wouldn't be big enough to really be able to get over the thickness of this acrylic. If you have a standard pendant with an enamel zinc alloy an enamel pendant style, that's going to have a lot thinner top, and you can use a smaller jump ring in that situation. But this is the 10 millimeter, and we're just going to use the split jump ring pliers to open that up and loop the jump ring over, and then screw that right onto the pendant, twist it on. So then we'll add the pendant and another spacer bead and a gold glitter bead. Black and gold rhinestones are next. The black disco ball iridescent, which is so much fun for New Year's. And then a gold glitter, and this is just a different version of glitter. The golds have the antique gold that's heavier filled, and then there's the clear base with silver filled or gold filled. And then we're going to take the two ends of the leather and we're going to hold them together so that they're even on that side. And then we're going to slide all of the beads down and situate them so that they are centered. So you want to make sure that the necklace is centered down here while the ends are still meeting at the top. And that way you're going to ensure that you don't have waste of the cord and that the necklace ends up the right size. So then you're going to take and do an overhand knot on one side. It doesn't matter which side you do first. And you're going to knot that leather, and you want to make sure that you're pushing that knot down to the spacer without moving or sliding those beads, because you want it to stay centered. And then on this side, you're going to push to the left. And the really important motion here is something that you really can't see in video. I am pushing with all my might towards the left to get all the slack out of that row of necklaces. Well, I'm pushing and holding very, very firm with my left hand. I'm knotting with the right. And then I'm pushing still here. I'm pulling all of these beads back with a lot of strength and pushing this knot as close to that spacer bead as possible. And then that ensures that you have a nice tight look, and those beads aren't going to be shifting or moving in any way. So really pulling at those beads to make sure that your knots are nice and snug on the end is really important, or else over time, the necklaces get worn and pulled and messed with, it's going to settle, and so the knots are going to end up here, and for example, and then the leather is going to stretch and the beads will shift. So you want to make sure that you have a nice snug tight grip on those end beads. Then you'll hold those two knots together, and then you're going to go back to the top and make sure that they're still even, because with that pulling process, depending on the leather, they could get a little bit shifted at that point. I'm just going to make sure that they're even. So this part is done now, and now we're going to go to the top. For the top, you're going to do 2 loops around your finger. So loop 1, loop 2, and then you're going to crisscross that end over those loops and go under the 2 loops. And then while you're pulling that under, you're going to flip the loop so that the loop that was on the right is now on the left. And that just gets the cord to lay flat and not have any crisscross in the cord where you don't want it. Once you've looped it that way, you're going to take your leather and pull it through those loops, through the middle there, and then you're going to tighten it up. And when you're tightening it, I'm pushing the loops to the right to make sure that this tail is small and that I don't have a lot of loss of cord. And then by that action where I kind of flip the right side loop over to the left, it makes it so you have a nice straight even loop, and you just have the one little X on the one side. And then we make sure that we're pulling those tight, because your hands really aren't capable of getting that not tight enough to hold over time. So you really want to make sure that you give a nice good pull with pliers. You can get a lot better grip on that leather to tighten it to make sure that the knot is secure. And then trim right at the plier marks. And you want to make sure that you don't trim all of the way. We leave about 1/4 of an inch. If you trim too closely, as you're adjusting, the knot could slip back out. And if it's too long, it just kind of looks bad. So you just want to make sure you've got a nice little tiny tail on the end. And then you're going to come through and you're going to repeat on this side. But this time you can't wrap your loops around your finger. You've got to wrap it around the cord itself. So you're going to come right around this cord and you're going to loop twice. You're still going around your finger, but you're also going around this cord this time. And then you cross that tail over, flip the right loop to the left so that it's going to be straight and not twisted, and then shimmy those knots over to the end. Take your pliers, give it a good pull, and then trim. And then at this point, we just make sure that the knots move nice and freely, that they're not getting stuck. The proper way to adjust an adjustable necklace is not to just pull with your hands. Sometimes people just start pulling like that, and that's not good for the leather. You want to just tuck your finger right inside that inner loop and gently pull to adjust those loops. And then when you're sliding them back, rather than just pulling them like that to get them out, you want to just take your fingers and shimmy them off the cord, and that's going to really ensure the longevity of the cord. You also want to make sure that you don't get these knots too close that they're touching each other, because they can become hard to separate. So you always want to be able to make sure you can get your fingers between those loops like that. And there you have your adjustable necklace. All the supplies for this necklace can be found right on our website at abcbeadsupply.com.